Reflection for the Feast of the Holy Family.
The Feast of the Holy Family invites us into the home in Nazareth, where God Himself learned to walk, to work, to pray. When we celebrate this feast, we stand before a profound mystery. The eternal Son of God chose to spend most of His earthly years hidden away in the obscurity of a small village, subject to Mary and Joseph, growing in wisdom and grace within the rhythms of ordinary family life. Saint John Chrysostom once marveled at this, saying that Christ, who holds all things together by His word, willingly placed Himself under the care of His creatures. Think about that for a moment. The one who spoke galaxies into existence learned obedience in a carpenter's home. The Word made flesh listened when His mother called Him to dinner. The King of Kings swept sawdust from the workshop floor. This tells us something profound about God's view of the family. He didn't arrive as a fully grown teacher or warrior. He came as a baby who needed his mother's milk, a child who needed formation, a young man who learned his trade from Joseph's patient instruction. Saint Joseph, whom Pope Pius XI called the model of fathers and the guardian of virgins, shows us what true fatherhood looks like. He protected, he provided, he pondered God's will in silence. His strength wasn't loud or domineering, but steady and utterly reliable. The epistle today from Colossians speaks of putting on compassion, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience, bearing with one another and forgiving each other. These aren't abstract virtues meant for monasteries alone. They're the daily stuff of family life, practiced in kitchens and living rooms, tested when someone forgets to do their chores or when tiredness makes everyone irritable. Saint Thérèse of Lisieux understood this perfectly. She wrote that love proves itself by deeds, so how am I to show my love? Great deeds are forbidden me. The only way I can prove my love is by scattering flowers, and these flowers are every little sacrifice, every glance and word, and the doing of the least actions for love. When the Gospel tells us that Mary kept all these things, pondering them in her heart, we glimpse the interior life that sustained the Holy Family. Mary didn't just manage a household, though she certainly did that with care. She treasured each moment, each mystery, holding them close and letting them transform her. This is what we're called to as well. Not to live on the surface of family life, rushing from one task to the next, but to recognize the sacred hiding in the ordinary. Every meal prepared, every bedtime prayer, every act of service can become a flower scattered for love. The family is where we learn to love when loving is difficult. It's where our selfishness gets exposed because we can't hide who we really are from the people who see us every day. But it's also where we learn that love isn't primarily a feeling. It's a decision renewed again and again. As St. John Paul II taught, the family is the first and vital cell of society, the place where we first learn to be human, to be Christian, to be saints. The Holy Family didn't escape suffering. They fled as refugees into Egypt. They lost Jesus in the temple for 3 agonizing days. They watched Him face rejection and ultimately the cross. Yet through it all, they remained united in faith and trust. When life becomes difficult, and it will, families anchored in prayer and sacrifice don't fall apart. They hold together because Christ is at their center. This feast challenges us to examine our own homes. Is prayer part of our daily rhythm? Do we forgive quickly? Do we serve one another with patience? St. Francis de Sales reminds us that the measure of love is to love without measure. And this heroic love begins right where we are, with the people sitting across the breakfast table. As we honor the Holy Family today, we ask for the grace to make our homes small Nazareths, places where Christ can dwell, where love is practiced in the smallest details, where holiness grows quietly but surely. May we learn from Joseph's faithful silence, Mary's pondering heart, and Jesus' humble obedience, that the path to holiness winds through the ordinary moments of family life, made extraordinary by love.